today is called Mosaic, and we're going to do an 8-inch version where you can use your jelly roll scraps or strips, and a 12-inch version that cuts 3.5-inch strips. We're just going to make one block of each in the demo, and then at the end I'll tell you how many blocks you can get off of a full width of fabric. Here's what the block looks like, and here's a sample of 4 of them put block to block. There are 4 different fabrics you choose per block, and I've numbered them 1 through 4. Number 1 is the light center, and that's this here. We have 2 patches. For the 12-inch block, we're going to cut one at 3.5 times 7.5 inches. And remember, this is just for one block. And for the 8-inch block, we're going to cut one at 2.5 times 5.5 inches. So you can cut off one piece at 5.5 inches from one of your jelly roll strips. For the dark fabric, number 2, and the dark fabric right here, we're going to cut 3, same size, 3.5 by 7.5, and 3 here, same size, 2.5 by 5.5. For the medium fabric and the light corners, so here is the medium fabric and then the light corners. For each of those, we'll cut 2. For the 12-inch, 3.5 by 7.5, and for the 8-inch, 2.5 by 5.5. Here are the fabrics I've chosen for both of the blocks. And we have our 4 different fabrics, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 on both of them. We're going to set up our strip sets by looking at these 2 diagrams. Let's move these first. Oh, here. So in this diagram, number 3 is at the top. Then we have number 2, number 1, and another number 2. This will be our first strip set. The second strip set, we start off with our number 4, number 3, number 2, then number 1. We'll set up the same strip sets for the jelly roll strips, and then we'll sew all the strip sets together. We'll sew this one, and then these 2. Now we have our 2 strip sets for our 12-inch block and our 2 strip sets for our 8-inch block. Let's put these aside. For each block, you need to cut 2 segments from this one and 2 segments from this one. For the 7.5 inches, you have a 1/2 inch to play with. So I'm going to straighten out this edge, flip it over, and cut 2 at 3.5. And I'll cut them off of this one too. Now I have all of my 4 segments cut for the 3.5 inch and for the 2.5 inch for the jelly rolls. We're going to take one of each of these and flip it around. So this one and this one. Then we're going to arrange them like this. And you look at it to make sure you have all of your ducks in a row, all of your fabrics line up that you want to line up. And then you simply stitch this together. Now let's do the same thing for the jelly roll, the 8-inch block. Take one of each pair and flip it over, and then move this one over here and check it. If it doesn't come out, then you started different than I did, but it should come out. But no worries if it doesn't, just flip them around till you get the look you want. Now I'll stitch this. Here are the blocks. Here's the 12-inch, and here's the little baby 8-inch block. Now if you wanted to make multiple of these blocks, where it says to cut one at 3.5 times 7.5 or 2.5 times 5.5, substitute that for width of fabric. So if you cut one at 3.5 times width of fabric here and 2.5 times width of fabric here, and did that for all of these, so you would have 8 strips of fabric, and you sewed them together in the same configurations here. For the 12-inch block, you would be able to make 6 identical blocks from the 8 strips you started off with. For the 8-inch block, you'll be able to make 8 identical blocks. And now if you wanted to cut squares and just make patches, then you just simply count these. So fabric number 1, the light center, you'd need 2 lights for each block. And fabric 2 is the dark, you would need 6 squares for the dark. For the medium, you would need 4 squares. And for the light corners, you would need 4 squares. So you can cut up matching squares if you want and put them together as patches. You don't have to strip piece them. Same thing with this over here. This is a really good chance for you to use up parts of your jelly roll scrap. So here are the 2 blocks. And thank you for watching.